Hey, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the award winning recovery podcast, Get in the Herd. I am your host, Nathan Mitchell, and we have, of course, Justice. Justice. I do that every time.
It's always going to be justice.
I
Just from now on,
always.
it's justice.
Justice Bognar.
It is what it is.
Justin Bognar, our producer over here. Today we have in the studio with us a special guest all the way from the cold tundra of Maine. We have with us JoJo today. JoJo's gonna, be the launching point for our sort of gratitude over the next 2 days. So JoJo, welcome to Get in the Herd. Welcome to Richmond, Virginia. Welcome to McShin Foundation. How the heck did you find us?
Honestly, my cousin was here a few years ago, and he reached out to the program directors and kind of pushed me along and got me in here.
Your cousin who lives in Maine.
Now, yes,
Yeah,
correct.
lives
Yeah,
back in Maine. I
who's
like your cousin.
who's been sober for going on 4 years now.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. I've known your cousin since he got here, and since he was here in Richmond. He was my assistant house leader for a while, and then after being my assistant house leader, he moved to another house and became the house leader at a different house. So yeah, yeah, good dude, man. That's good looking out. Family stuff.
yeah, he's good. He's doing well. I'm proud of him.
How long have you been here?
Uh, about 10 days.
That's it.
Yeah.
Wow, I feel like I feel like it's been like 3 months of me trying to run you down with my car in the morning. Justin's like, what? But no, I think I explained that to you, didn't I?
Yeah, that was explained to me.
Yeah, not very
I-
exciting, was it?
It was a fantastic story when you told it to me, but
For the 4 people watching right now, I tend to cruise in around just before stand up, just before 9:15 around here, which is a little bit late. But for whatever reason, several days in a row, JoJo just happened to be crossing the parking lot just as I'm charging into a parking space, and it's like, okay, it's me or the car,
Yeah.
or it's the car or JoJo. And that's kind of funny. I like that because I like that. Now we got this thing. Because I laugh. I mean, you see me in the car
yeah, of
cracking up.
course.
Oh, I lost sound in half my ear there. What happened? Did you lose sound?
Yep.
You lost sound too?
you lost sound in half your ear.
Yeah. Well, it just went weird all of a sudden. It's fuzzy sounding.
Hmm.
I think it's good now.
It's good. No, see, there's a shake. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We're on. We're live. And well, so anyway, look. So you got here 10 days ago. What was the point that you said you needed to make a change? What was that point that you got help and what was going on before you got down here?
Um, after it was after an overdose a few weeks ago. Um, that I really decided that I needed to do something different than what I was doing. Um, for a long time, I didn't really think that I had a drug problem
Mm.
because I would go to prison and be sober for extended periods of time and just get out and do the same thing. And that was just a recurring cycle. And after getting out this time, after doing 6 years, um, I after the overdose, I realized that all that's going to do, I'm going to end up right back in prison if I don't do something differently than what I've previously been doing.
Yeah. When did you get out of prison?
Uh, June 18th of 2021.
So between June 18th of 2021 and 10 days ago, you were running hard again.
Um, yeah,
Yeah.
you could say that. You could say that.
How many times did you overdose in that period?
Just once.
Just the one time?
Just once. But just the I just seeing the hurt that was um that was causing the people around me that cared about me, and most importantly my mother. um I just at that point I knew that I had to do something different. I lost my brother 2 years ago, while I was incarcerated, and that seeing how that affected my mother, um, I realize now how selfish I
Mm,
have been, and it really woke me up to not wanting to wanting her to go through that again.
okay.
So,
So how did you get brought back, if you don't mind sharing that? How did you
um,
overdosed and
well, my mother found me,
wow.
right, and she called the paramedics, and they came, and they had to Narcan me and whatnot, and then for just the few days after that, prior to me coming here, were just it was stressful all on her. I couldn't leave the house without her worrying, without her crying, without her staying up all night wondering where I was or if I was going to come home. And it hurt me. It hurt me to see her like that. And um, at the end of the day, this is something I need to do for myself. But at the same time, I know what it's by me helping myself. I know what it's going to do to help her
Mm.
at the same time. So that's kind of how I got here. She's actually the one that reached out to Dakota
Mm.
and kind of moved the process along.
And so what I know that you can do now is you can send her a link to the show, and she'll be able to watch and see you.
She will.
Have you talked to her?
Hi, ma.
Hey, mom.
Yeah, I talk to her every couple days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I talk to her every couple days. So, and she's doing better now, knowing that where I am and that I'm
Mm.
trying to get myself right. So it's good. I'm in a good place right now.
I see you laugh a lot. I
Um,
see, and I don't. I mean that as a good thing.
yeah.
I see you smile a lot. Actually, is what I think. I see you smile a lot, and of course, I see you laugh a lot too. Because usually, I'm the one cutting up, and you laugh at me. Whether you're laughing at me or laughing at my jokes, that's okay. I don't care either way. I just like the laughing part.
I mean, life is too short to be so serious all the time.
Mm.
You have to have humor. Um, it's being in the part of the program that I'm in right now. It's kind of what helps me get through my day without having my phone, without
Ooh,
having my music
right.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's what helps me move forward every day. Because some days it can be hard,
Mm.
but as I say, one day at a time.
One day at a time. Have you talked to Dakota a lot since you've been your cousin? We can say Dakota.
Um, Not a lot. He came down. He was down here couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I was bummed I missed him.
Um,
Yeah.
so I seen him then, and I spoke to him a few times. I just called him. I think I just called him Sunday night. I talked to him and stuff. I try to call him every few days and check in with him, see how he's doing. You know what I
Mm.
mean? But yeah, he's doing good, and I try to keep in touch with him when I can.
Yeah, that's cool. So your mom reached out to Dakota and said, "Hey, what was this place?" And why did you make a decision to do it? I mean, okay, so the overdose, seeing your mom go through it, you actually went through and got on the plane and came down here. Um,
Got on the plane. That's a funny
well,
story.
did you? Oh yeah, there was a problem with the plane.
Yeah.
What happened? I remember hearing something.
So I got here on Sunday. Um, Not this past Sunday, the Sunday before. On Saturday, I was on my way to the airport, and I got in a car accident.
Right, that's right.
So
That's why it's even funnier in the parking lot. Duh.
right.
There
So
we go.
I missed my flight on Saturday. Um,
Is your mom okay? Is everything
yeah,
okay?
yeah,
Okay.
we were both fine. We were both fine. Wasn't my fault. Um,
Oh, you were
but
driving.
I was driving, yes, but it wasn't my fault. But we were both okay, thank God.
And the other people,
That
everybody's fine. Okay.
everybody's fine.
Gotcha.
So I booked another flight for Sunday morning and got to the airport, and I missed my check-in by 3 minutes.
Ah,
So then I Googled how far Richmond was from Raleigh, North Carolina, because that's where I was flying out of. It was only 2.5 hours, and I just said I'll drive. because it's not that far.
Oh, you were in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Yeah. Well, I was in Fayetteville. I was in
Well,
Fayetteville, and
wait, that's where you live?
Yes, that's where I live.
I thought you were coming from Maine.
Yeah, no, I didn't come from. No,
Oh.
I left Maine as soon as I got out of prison. I
Okay.
moved to North Carolina. So we just decided to drive, and
Okay.
I drove up here with my mother, and I got here on Sunday, and we got to talk to John a little bit. She got to talk to John and
Mhm.
whatnot, and now here we are.
I bet that's unique to have that sort of. Well, it's a distinct Maine accent, but it's not too heavy.
Right.
But certainly down in North Carolina, it must be a unique thing to walk around with that accent.
It is. It
Uh,
is. But yeah, it is.
Yeah. um, Now I know that you have other family members. Do you want to talk about? Do you mind talking about your family and what they're doing for the holidays?
um, I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
I don't. I don't. Right now, I haven't spoken to. I don't have any phone numbers.
Ah, it's tough. I know.
So
Yeah.
the only people I really talk to, I talk to my mother obviously, and I talk to my wife. And that's really
And she's in North
that's
Carolina
really it
too,
right
right?
now. No, she actually lives in Canada.
Your wife
But
is in Canada.
yeah,
You're from Maine,
I'm
but you
from
live in North Carolina. All right,
It's
there's a story there.
yeah,
Okay,
that's yeah. But
we'll leave it at that, huh?
yeah. So I have a sister. My sister lives in North Carolina as
Mm.
well. I don't really know what their plan is for the holidays and whatnot. Thanksgiving was my brother's favorite holiday,
Mm.
so I don't I don't know if my mom will be doing much,
Yeah.
but either way, happy holidays.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, I mean, but I asked my mom, how's everybody doing? How are things? And as long as everything's well with them, I'm content with that right now. Obviously, once I get my phone, I'll be able to reach out to more of them and whatnot. So, but for right now, everybody's well.
What are you doing for Thanksgiving?
Um,
I know, but do they don't know?
I don't know either.
Oh, you don't know?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Well, so I'm a tiny bit sad that I won't be here for Thanksgiving. The last two I worked both of those days, but I actually and I worked all the Christmases I think since I got here since I came back. So um, but I'm taking this. I'm going to be with my family on Thanksgiving. But last year, we have this gratitude meeting that started, I think, 2 or 3 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago we started that, and there's a gratitude meeting first thing in the morning, and I mean, it's a really we do a lot of cool groups, I think here, but this happens to be, I think, my favorite um, because it's all of us. It's not one staff member in a group or a facilitator in a group. It's like most of the staff come, and it's not like we're up on the stage doing like the community meeting where we're kind of talking at you.
Right.
It's we're all in a circle. It's sort of like everybody's at the same place, which we are anyway, and that's another story for another time. But
Right.
that particular meeting, for whatever reason, just sort of really just gets me to to. I wasn't know if it was last year or the year before, but like my boss crying, and my boss is Jesse,
Right.
and my boss sharing and crying is, and not to put, I'm not gonna, I don't even remember exactly what it was, but I know Jesse's story, and
Right.
Jesse has a really powerful story, and and there's moments like I get lost in the why didn't you give me that permission, or why are you I get mad, I'm
Right.
like the human, the day-to-day stuff, the stuff that's like, okay, like why haven't you responded to my email fast enough? Why haven't you given me the support on my job that I need? Why haven't you done this? And blah 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 blah. All the things that, like, get frustrated with humans, and then it's like, Jesse comes in, or honesty comes in, and like it's like, oh yeah, right. This is why I'm here.
Now I
This
get
is
it.
why I work here, right? And
Right.
like I gotta remember, I have to do that on a daily basis, and I get to do that on a daily basis with grace because they give me such grace.
I just have to throw in,
Mm.
speaking of Jesse, no, when
And he doesn't watch the show usually either. So
yeah, he's probably not watching right now. But when I first saw him come in, like I remember when he got hired and all that stuff, I was just like, who is this dude that they're just like, I seriously, like, I looked at him just like, not really with just like, I don't know exactly what I was feeling, but I was just like, great, this guy is, he looked like he was going to be just a straight up jerk.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
just
yeah.
not a cool guy to work for as a like a direct report boss. And I kind of steered clear of him, honestly.
Wait, was this when you came in as an employee or when you came in as a?
This is when the first time I was here.
Yeah. Okay.
I was just like, man, I would not want to work for this guy. You know, no way, not a chance. And like when I was up here, the times I would actively avoid him. And when I started in this role, you know, I didn't really know him very well at all. We've since developed a fantastic relationship. And not only is the dude cool as shit, like he is a really cool guy once you get to talk to him and like once you get to know him, pretty funny too. He's a great boss. Like he really is a great boss. Like once you have like a good rapport with him and can kind of get through that like hard looking exterior, you know, like he's a really cool guy, you know.
That chewy exterior, but that soft nougaty goodness.
No, but he's like, I mean, he's a good guy to work for, you know, just in general. Like I've worked for a lot of companies and a lot of the bosses that I've had have just been like, you know, what, you know, they'll yell and they'll, you know, scream and bitch and whatever. But like he, I don't know. I don't want to go off on a tangent, but I'm really impressed with his management style. Let's put it that way. So,
yeah,
but yeah.
That's funny. There was something I wanted to add to that. Oh shoot, squirrel,
Squirrel.
squirrel, business,
Business.
We have jokes, right? You know, Jesse has been Jesse. What you got here? What, February, March?
I got here February
of 2018, the first time.
The first time, yeah, 2018.
Okay.
I spent New Year's in Tucker's, and I think I got
So
here.
Tucker's is a psychiatric hospital around here.
Okay.
Maybe January.
Well, it's before me, but because Jesse had started, I think he started before you got here, right?
He had started.
I want to say he started in like October of 2017. Well, this isn't a show about Jesse anyway,
Yeah,
but
I know that
but
he had either just started or started right when I got here.
Yeah, and so it's being able to what I'm getting at, because we were talking about what to do on Thanksgiving, right? And you know, being able to share our spaces, you know, share the space together, and remember why we're all here. I mean,
Right.
we get to do that on a regular basis, but I don't know, that's a particularly centering moment for me, and I'm grateful. I will be here for that. I really wouldn't want to miss that, and I will be here on Thursday for that. And you know, because we work with really cool people, you know, and we have a great, not only staff, but like we have this really cool place. You know, the people who come in are all of our, you know, alumni and all of our current participants, and you know, the staff that aren't alumni and all the interns, and you know, it's a neat place to be. But anyway, I digress. We'll do that for an hour. And I think I'm sure it'll be just a lazy day for y'all. You know, Walt's going to be here, so there might be a little testify going on. Testify turkey.
Testify turkey.
Little testify turkey. I'm going to throw that at him too. So, Walt does every third Tuesday. He does the show, and it's Testify Tuesday. And you know how Walt is.
Yep.
You know, and it's us. Yeah, he's awesome.
He's great. He's great.
But you know, I'm sure they'll do movies or something. But I know that Kevin's going to cook.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and so I mean it'll be an easy day. You know, in the past, other houses have cooked, and we've said, I don't know. I haven't heard what other houses are doing for Thanksgiving. But one thing we did it at Christmas last year with the grateful one, Rob. Rob was living in Scott House for Thanksgiving and Christmas last year.
Yeah.
As a participant. Rob and who lived in that house at the time? It doesn't matter. But we filled the house. We filled my car because I worked on Christmas last year, and we filled up my car with just the guys from the house. And I said, "All right, well, let's go." And we went. We have 13. Well, we have 12 houses, about to be 13 houses, and so of those 12, um, currently 4 are women's houses, but at the time, or 8 are men's houses, but at the time 9 were men's houses. And we went and drove to all 8 other men's houses, and we just went in and said, "Hey."
Stopped in and said
Yeah,
hi.
because there were people, just there. Some people just didn't go with their family, because I know for me that first Christmas in recovery, my family didn't really want to have much to do with me, and I was still pretty bitter by the second Christmas, and I'm like, I don't really want to have anything to do
Do
with
with
you.
them.
Yeah, and the third Christmas was COVID last year,
Oh,
and
okay.
so even though we all wanted to see each other,
Okay.
I just didn't want. I wasn't
Right.
vaccinated yet, and so, or I don't even know if the vaccine was out or if it just gotten out, but I just didn't want to do that. And now this year, like, I'm like, if I don't come home covered in kid stickiness and dog hair and feeling like I've gained 40 pounds, then I've missed out,
Right.
And I love that I get to do that today. Plus I also get to get in my car whenever I want and leave. I don't have to,
Right. That's true. That's true.
and I love that because I've got kind of a day mapped out. If it happens like that, it'll be great. But if it doesn't, whatever, life on life's terms. But I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna go do what I love doing. And the first thing in the morning, I'm gonna go swim because go swim in the pool, get a little kick start to my metabolism. Jump in here for the.
Always good.
Oh my god!
Always good.
Well, I'm thinking
taking-
of fasting between now and Thanksgiving. Actually,
Oh, I couldn't do that.
I
See,
can't do
if
it.
I do
I'm
that-
thinking of it.
if I
I'm
do
not
that,
doing
I
it.
won't eat as much.
Well,
honestly,
but that's kind of.
I'm also taking a week off of the gym right now, which
Oh.
is killing me. I hate.
Why
I
are you
hate
taking a
it.
week off?
Well, okay, so I've been going really,
When
really
the story
hard.
starts with well, it's like,
Well,
oh shoot, why did
So-
I ask?
Also, hi, sweetheart.
Oh,
Teresa's watching.
oh, that was her who put the love in there.
Yeah, I think she's
Aw.
the only one watching.
That's all right, Teresa. You're the most important one.
You really are.
Yeah. By the
Um,
way, I want you. Oh, there. Now I can hear again. Did
Yeah.
it pop in your
Yeah,
ear?
I did.
Yeah, something was loose because we just suddenly had a pop in there.
I literally did nothing. I'll check the cables and
Yeah.
the buttons and the switches.
Suddenly, my
and-
left ear went. Ooh. But anyway,
Sorry.
Teresa. Speaking of ears, I still need you to come and do my ears. She's gonna clean the wax out of my ears. we've got the candles and everything. That sounds way weirder than it is.
No, so my girlfriend introduced me and Nathan to ear candles, which are these big, long, like
That's
seriously. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think they're kind of gross because when you unwrap them, it shows you like what you. But
Do we have to unwrap them?
You don't have to.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, you don't have to. But you lay on your side, you stick this candle in your ear, and you light it, and it burns down. It takes like about 10 minutes, but it pulls like all the crap out of your ear. This is getting to be a disgusting conversation.
That is a comment too, probably
yeah,
from Teresa. Yeah.
Probably.
I'm here for you. Teresa says, "Yeah, yeah, it did become disgusting quick, but it's apparently
But they
works.
work. They
Yeah.
work. Like you can legit hear better afterwards.
I'm eager to because I'm over 30. Well,
I am over 30.
I'm 4 or 5, and
I'm for.
I was
Well, I'm 32, so
there. You go. I'm 45, so 45 and still alive. Wow, that was cheesy.
Don't ever do that again, please.
No.
Actually, go wait in the car, okay?
Okay, bye.
Yep.
I've got kielbasa in the car, as you know.
I've got a ton of chicken, one kielbasa. Yeah, all the things.
So this is the podcast when we don't have like when we don't have Joseph. Joseph was on the show yesterday, and actually, I mean, we were pretty.
And you're right, dude. He is a massive person. Like seriously. Okay, so
Tall. He's tall. He's not like massive.
no. Yeah, that's what. Okay, so he's very tall. He's
Yes.
very tall. When the camera angle was like this, okay, the contrast between him and Nathan was outstanding. He was just this towering human being. It was just like, whoa, dude. Like you weren't kidding.
Yeah, yeah. Joseph was cool. Yeah, well, so actually, that's man, we ADD up in here, but we have fun because so what you probably don't know about this is so we this started before the pandemic, and it was just a John wanted to record some groups, and it wasn't me. It was actually Todd and Jordan, and I was on the first. I'm on the first official episode, but technically that's not the first. It doesn't whatever. Anyway, so but who cares? Right? Exactly. I don't know. Me, I'm pedantic. But
I don't know what that means.
stickler for stupid minute details
Okay, continue.
unnecessarily. Yeah. So this. Well, it became a thing. It just became a thing. Let's do a thing. Why not? And
Right.
so we started this thing. Or a thing was started anyway, and I became part of it really quick. And we just sort of built this thing. And then the pandemic hit a few months later, and it was like, oh, we have this way to continue to pull the message out. And so, what you've probably gathered from being here a little while is that we have jail programs.
Right.
And so, my recovery journey started through a McShin jail program.
Okay.
And so it's near and dear to me, that work that we do, because I directly benefited from that work, and I'd certainly I think it certainly saved my life. And then getting out and the whole story about that. But so when we weren't able to physically go into jails anymore, we were able to start putting this podcast as well as other things that we record into the jails,
Into them. Yep.
and now we still do that. We continue to put the stuff in, and we are in 48 different jails and institutions around the Commonwealth.
Nice.
So yeah,
That's pretty cool.
And individuals can watch for free. We give it to Paytel, which is the company that controls the tablets.
Okay.
People who have tablets. I didn't have a tablet in jail.
Right.
Did you have a tablet in prison?
I did.
Lucky son of a-
I honestly think that's the coolest part about doing all this is the fact that it goes.
I thought he was
into-
going to say it was cool to have a tablet in jail. That was the coolest.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
no.
That's where I thought he was.
No.
going.
The coolest part of jail is the fact that I didn't go.
Mm,
Yeah. That is.
Well,
that
I
is
spent the
pretty-
night
that is
in
pretty
jail in
cool.
Atlanta, but
yeah.
that was no big deal.
Yeah.
That was easy.
Well, so talk about that. That's an interesting segue. That's a pivot there. You've talked about your prison time. How you feeling about not being in prison right now?
It's nice, obviously. It took a, like I said, I was the last time I was incarcerated for about 6 years.
Yeah.
So I still haven't fully adjusted.
Yeah.
But it's taken some time to try to adjust to being back in society. Um, just little things like going to a grocery store or being around large groups of people.
Yeah.
Just hearing certain things at nighttime, car doors, car alarms, just stuff like that. It can make your anxiety very, very bad. But it's slowly getting better. I would much rather be out here than in prison, and I mean that's pretty much that's part of the reason why I'm here, because I knew that eventually what I was doing was going to ultimately lead me back there, and
Or somewhere else.
or worse,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I've wasted too much of my time incarcerated,
Yeah.
and that's not something that I want to do anymore.
Yeah. I like that. What how has being here helped, and what else can we do for you and for the next person?
Um,
And forgive me, I know that's a lot to ask.
I
So
mean, it's been this is my first time ever being at any type of recovery, rehab, anything like that. I've never been to any type of program or anything like that. So for me, it's more so just listening to other people. Like I've and it's not that I'm hearing anything different from some of these people that I haven't heard from my mother or from my father or from my wife, but ultimately, um, I listened. I just decided to make my own choices regardless. Now, sitting here listening to John or listening to Walt, people like that have been sober for 30 plus years, you know what I mean? And I'm starting to learn now not to just listen and pay attention, but to bridge the gap between listening and paying attention to actually thinking before making a decision.
Mm.
Because before I would be pretty impulsive and just skip the thinking step and just make a decision or just react to a situation without necessarily thinking about the consequences. Um, so it's given me I mean I still have a long way to go and a lot to learn, but it's let me look at things from a different perspective. Because certain people in my life telling me these things haven't been through the things that I've been through, opposed to John or somebody like Walt who has been there and done that and now look at where they're at. So I feel like it's more relatable.
Yeah.
And they actually they're telling me something actually knowing what I'm going through and what I've been through. And I feel like that's helped me. That's really helped me a lot, just getting something from that perspective.
Hmm.
um as far as helping me further or helping the next person, I mean, I haven't heard from anyone about this program being bad or anything like that. I haven't heard a bad word about the McShin.
Oh, you will.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sure I will, but at the end of the day, if you really want to change your life and do things the right way, this is this is a good program to do that.
Yeah.
But ultimately, you have to be the one to do that. Nobody can do it for you. You have to want to, and that's also something that I've kind of learned. And but for me, like I'm sitting back, and like I said, I'm listening to other people's experiences, other people's wisdom that's been there and done that, and I really think that that's kind of helped me a lot to progress and move forward. So,
Yeah.
and hopefully I can just continue to do that.
You know what, you mentioned both John and Walt, and what I love about the two of them, and I'm going to throw Moses into that, for me, is that from okay, I'm going to take Walt out of it because he wasn't around as much then, but Moses and John, you know, from the very beginning, like when I was, first year as a participant, I could always walk in and just talk to them.
Right.
And it wasn't like I had to get past my own sense of fear because, oh, these people and I'm scared and blah blah blah. But once I did that and just went in and started talking, like it was just free. And it wasn't there was like I never feel like Walt or Moses are condescending to me. John sometimes, but that's me and my desire,
And
my issues.
and there's no judgment.
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
judgment. And that's I think that's a big thing for a lot of people. I know for me it is, because it's not I can't walk into to a uh office or whatever and speak to a counselor or a therapist about whatever issues, because at the end of the day, not that some of them don't know what they're talking about, but everything 90% of what you learned in a classroom,
Yeah.
by a book, or whatever the case may be. You can talk to somebody like John, somebody like Walt, about what it is that you're going through, and know that they've been there before, and that they're going to give you they're going to give you advice or wisdom from a place of experience, and not, oh, I read this in a clinical book, and that's what it is. So I know for me, it's a lot easier to go in and talk to somebody like that and be able to, because I don't like talking to people. I don't like talking to people at all. But it's been
Me neither.
it's been a lot easier to go in and talk to somebody like that, um opposed to a therapist or a counselor or something. So I found it very helpful for me. And I mean, that might not work for everybody, but it works for me.
Well, and that's it may not work for everybody, but it works for you, and that's certainly why I like that we have many options, you
Right.
know. And I think that there's a treatment is necessary for a lot of people, to get sort of a grounding in just how to not use.
Right.
And then when we start to get into the recovery part, we start to address the root causes of the addiction, recognizing that it's not really the drugs and the alcohol, it's the other thousand issues, the 90% of us that's really the issue. It's me that's the issue,
Right.
and how I'm coping with whatever it is that I'm not
Whatever's
or
going
not
on.
coping with,
Right.
And I am so grateful to have people like John and Moses and Walt, with those decades and decades of time. And Jesse, Jesse's got, I think, 13 or something years, and Honesty's got 13 or 14 or something. They've got over a decade each. I'll throw them in two. Jesse and I love that we have this distinction, because they're okay. If we talk, there's certain people say long term recovery is this, and some that say it's this, and I don't say long term. I mean, I've got 3.5 years. I don't think I've earned long term recovery at this point. And at the same time, I look at people like Jesse and Honesty, where they are in recovery and sort of where they are in their careers and their families, and
Right.
they're roughly the same age. So their families are, it's like it's a similar plane. And I'm actually older than both of them, by just a few years. Um, so they've got all that time and all this experience and all that stuff that's going on, and then you get to like Moses and Stewart
Right.
and Walt, who
Right.
have the decades and the decades and the decades, and still come in, to help the next person, right? The next sick and suffering, and sharing the imperfections in their lives and how they deal with it. Like, I talk to Moses about stuff all the time, and it's just like, oh yeah, you're not perfect, and you can help me too. I can help you, and we
Right.
have these great conversations.
Exactly.
I laugh with Walt all the time. I went down. John, what is your name? Justice and I walked into into John's office right before we left, for lunch real quick, and then we walked in there, and I was like, "Yo, what the hell are you doing with blah blah blah?" Because that's me, right?
Right.
I got the New Jersey in me, and it comes out when
Yeah.
I'm pissed off, and I get pissed off very easily. I'm a hothead, and I work on that in my recovery, and I come in there, and I'm like, "Yo, what the heck? Blah 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 blah." I'm getting phone calls about this, and this, and he's like, "Rah rah rah," John, rah rah rah,
Right.
and I'm like, "Oh yeah, you know what? He doesn't give me shit for approaching him like an asshole, you know? And he takes the time to talk to me about what it is I'm coming at him with. And then
Right.
I walk away going, if I'd approached that differently, I
Right.
could have learned something instead of, just reacting out of emotion or responding out of
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Which brings me to another thing, something you said. One of the things I am most grateful for in my recovery is that my first thought doesn't have to be my last thought.
Correct.
Meaning I can think about why what it is that emotion is, and what's that doing for me, and is it serving, what's the wisdom behind that emotion? Is it serving me or not serving me? And I can make a choice. Wish I always made better choices, but I get the option to make better choices, and I get
Right.
to learn from them, right?
Exactly.
And that's one of the most brilliant things about recovery for me. It's like, oh yeah, I can simplify this shit, because I want to overcomplicate things. It's kind of like anytime I
You
try.
want to overcomplicate things? No,
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 no, no, no,
never.
never. So Justin and I have known each other literally since the first day I got here,
Okay.
and which is back in April 30th of 2018. He was my house leader, excuse me, at Chamberlain back then.
Back then, Sonny.
Back in my day, we didn't have these
Back
ticky
when I only
talkie.
had to use one cane.
Back when I was only missing 4 teeth. Now I'm missing 5. True story though. that tooth got pulled. Never mind. I'm not gonna
Oh.
tell that on the air. I'll tell you that later though. I mean, I might as well now. No. Anyway, so I don't know what the hell we're doing today. We're just talking recovery. I love that we get to have these conversations.
This has just been a beautiful train wreck of a show, and it's fantastic. I love it.
Have you felt that this was also a train wreck? Have you also felt
No, a beautiful train wreck. That's
Nah,
different than a train wreck.
Cool, I'm having fun.
good? You're right. I don't want to not have fun. You know, not every show, and I mean, this show is pretty broad, so we have a lot of different people on here, and sometimes it gets sad. We talk about some deep stuff. I mean, recovery is not freaking easy,
Right.
you know, and I, you know, if you want to talk about, we can go deep. I'm happy to go deep, but I love that you've shared some really honest, deep stuff. I think without having to be, you know, let's all get sad in our feelings, and which what do I sound like right now? What do I don't know. Do I sound like
Talking about being sad and in your
sad?
feelings.
Oh, I was about to say an F word.
You were. I heard it. You were right there. Fair enough.
Fair enough. You know, feelings suck.
I don't know, man. Like feelings do
Bad
suck.
feelings suck.
Well, okay, so that's one of the hardest parts
Good feelings suck.
of getting clean.
What's that?
Is
Feelings?
having to figure out and train yourself, well, relearn essentially how to sit with your feelings. Because I know that for me, like, I mean, if I felt anything, it was a reason to get high. If I was happy, if I was sad, if I was depressed, if I was angry, didn't matter what the feeling was. It was a reason to get high. And half the time, once I got high, I wouldn't feel the feeling anyways. So I forgot how to actually feel genuine feelings. It got to a point where at the height of my addiction, I realized that I hadn't had a genuine laugh in years. Like I hadn't thought something was genuinely funny. I was laughing because I felt that it was what I was supposed to do at the time that I was supposed to do it because a thing was funny. And that, you know, it was just like this whole thing. It was just this whole thing. And like my brain was just like, you are to laugh now. Do the laugh, you know, like it was almost like a robotic thing. But now it's like, I don't know. It's like I have feelings again, and you know, like when I'm sad, like it's sad, it hurts, you know, like when I'm happy, like I'm really happy, you know, like it's, I don't know, that I don't know where I'm really going with this, honestly.
The way things are supposed to be.
Yeah. Like, and like, yeah, that to me, that's honestly one of the things that I find can be a trigger for me too. It makes me, you know, when I'm bored and I'm sitting there thinking about something and I'm having all these emotions and feelings, that's the first place that, you know, this brain takes me to is like, oh, time to go get high about it, you know? And it's just like, damn. But, you know, hopefully eventually that kind of subsides a little bit. Is that a word? Subside?
Yes. And you used it correctly.
Perfect.
Yes.
Man, I'm doing great. See what getting clean does for you?
Business.
You can talk normal. You can talk good. But no, like that's yeah, sitting with your feelings and retraining yourself how to actually just deal with your feelings without numbing them.
Right.
You know,
yeah, it's hard. It definitely is hard.
It's so hard. It's so hard. Like that in and of itself, like it's giving me anxiety just thinking about it right now. Like,
well, so what are the tools? What are the tools to get out of that spot?
Man, the tools are like you. So for me, my tools, a lot of times I'll use music. I'll go to the gym a lot. Of course, this week I'm taking a week off, which was a story I was going to tell, but then we veered off into something else.
Nobody wanted to hear that story.
Yeah, exactly.
Except now I do.
Well, so I'll tell that story real quick. Okay. I'm taking a week off from the gym right now.
Go ahead.
Because I've been really pushing myself recently, like a lot. I've been trying to increase the weight that I'm lifting, you know, basically I'm trying to get a lot stronger. And at 41 years old, that starts to take its toll on things like joints and tendons and all that stuff. And I've got a lot of little small aches and pains.
Yep.
And I every day when I go in, I feel good and I I perform like I want to perform, but something always ends up hurting. So I'm taking a week off to let all that stuff heal and let my body kind of reset itself. And then I'm gonna go back and
you have to every
get
once in a
on
while.
it.
It's a good reset. I like.
Yeah, you got to do that every once in a while, especially if you push your body. It's just like you push your mind like that. You got to go on a vacation. You got to shut your brain off.
Take a break.
Exactly. Take a little break.
When I turned 40, I was lifting a lot back then. And when while I was getting ready to turn 40, I set goals for myself. I'm gonna squat this much weight. I'm gonna bench press this, and I forget what the third one was.
Deadlift.
Yeah. No, I don't think it was deadlifting. It was something. It might have been deadlifting. Whatever it was.
Those are the 3 power lifts.
Yeah, it probably was deadlifting. But I met 2 of them, and I didn't meet the bench press, and I just have bad form. But anyway, when I did that, right afterwards, I went, what the hell am I doing? Because I'm like, okay, I want to be fit. And I want to, at the time though, I spiraled after that. But at the time I was like, what am I doing? I'm going to destroy my joints and I'm going to destroy my joints if I keep trying to lift more and more and more. It's like, I look good right now. I'm in good shape. Why don't I just maintain that, and focus on cardiovascular stuff, and I mean, my dad's had 2 heart attacks, I'm and his first one was at 50. I'm 45. So it's like, okay, plus I've done mountains of stuff that are going to destroy, at potentially, I'm like, let's think about that and focus on that. So then I just stopped going to the gym, and when I did do it, I was doing mountains of stuff while I was at the gym. So it got very unhealthy very quickly at that time. But that's a good realization, man. Like, I appreciate that feeling of like, oh, wait a second, let me take it back and heal myself. I've been swimming a lot, and I haven't actually noticed a lot of weight loss. I've lost a few pounds, and I've actually lost buttons. Belt loops. But as much as I'd like to lose the weight, what's really been awesome is like sciatica. Like, I've had sciatica like the last year or so, and that's stopped or almost completely stopped. I have other little aches and pains. I'm like, suddenly I'm not as achy and painy anymore since I've been doing this like 4 days a week since October. And so it's not even that long, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm seeing benefits, or I'm feeling benefits, getting in the pool. And I'm like, all right, well, cool. I can do this.
So if I'm being I didn't cut you off, did I?
No.
Okay. So if I'm being blatantly honest about the gym, I'm an addict, just like all the rest of us, right? And my addiction needs an outlet. Gym is my outlet.
Mine too, and that's it's real hard not to. I can't go to the gym right now.
Soon.
So it's
soon.
Soon.
And I mean, that's the thing. Like, it's a healthy outlet. It calms my cravings. It makes my triggers less triggery, and like, one of the worst parts of active addiction is the consequences, right? So what's the worst consequence of going to the gym? You get in shape.
I mean, well,
aches and pains,
getting hurt, but
well, I mean, yeah, but you could get hurt walking outside.
Wow.
If you're me, because Nathan likes to almost hit me with his car every day, but that's neither here nor there.
I think my Volkswagen is just like going after you. I think that car has a mind of its own, little German thing.
That mind has a car of its own.
Yeah, well, but I feel you on the healthy outlets. So my addiction manifests itself in other ways too. Some healthy and some not healthy. Like, I would say that I'm not as OCD, fastidious. Like I'm not as a neat freak as I have been in the past. I've let things go a little bit. Um, but I like to clean. It's a healthy outlet for me. And when I'm upset, I clean. It's funny enough. You'll notice like my house is not as clean and neat as it is because I'm not upset. No, it's because we're moving room. But
Nathan's happy. His
Nathan's
house
happy
is
as a mess.
trashed.
Well, no, I mean, there is a little bit to that, but also, and I like to cook. And that can be healthy or not
Ooh,
healthy.
I'm gonna cook a bunch of chicken tonight,
Dude. I know. Do you know that freaking kielbasa I got in the car? That's a story for after the show. But and but also like for me, the dangers are I am a hot tempered guy, and so. And I'm not built to be a hot tempered guy either, right? I'm 5'4.5", and half inch is important. But
you're a powerful 5'4".
I am a powerful 5'4.5" high. And I can get angry really quick. Like I got a lot of anger in there, and I'm explosive in my anger. I'm not well, actually, I suppose I'm less explosive these days and more just a slow all the time when I'm angry. Let me just
simmer.
Let me just simmer, but let me just like simmer all over everybody around me. So these are things I'm still learning about myself, and that's the cool thing about having people around me who give or have grace with me, but also can tell me, "Yo,
Right.
dude, what the hell's up with you?"
Sugarcoat
Yeah.
it.
Like my sponsor. I have a sponsor who not only tells me what's up, but is not my best friend. Although I love her to death, but it's like no, no. We're not hanging out on Saturdays, going to it's like we're not shopping together and stuff. It's like hey, something really scary just happened. Somebody liked something I did because I have a fear of failure, and God forbid you tell me I'm good at something. Oh, I'm gonna wonder what. Oh boy, and yeah, this is a thing. It's if I'm too happy, I'm upset. If I'm too sad, I'm upset. It's never perfect for me. It's all about dealing with emotions, dealing with feelings for me, and having the people around me, having healthy outlets. Like going to the gym, or for me, it's the swimming piece because it's been my breathing is so much better. I love to meditate. I do. It's. I'm an uppers guy.
It's relaxing.
I need to meditate.
It's relaxing.
And other tools like that. But the tool that I like the most, and this is going to pivot towards listen to this pivot. Talk about pivoting right to the end. Let me tell you, big pivot right here. You ready for it? You ready for this big pivot?
I'm ready.
One of the greatest tools, when I'm not feeling, all that great, is to sit down and really think about what I'm grateful for. Do you like that? It's a good pivot.
That was a fantastic pivot. Not gonna lie.
Right. But it's also true. It's not only just a little gimmicky ha 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 thing, but for real though. When I can sit down and figure the things out, like wait a second, and I talk about this all the time, and I talk about making my bed in the morning, and I think about, I spent a total of like 80 days in jail my entire life. I didn't spend a lot of time in jail, but those days are days I don't want to go back to.
Right.
I spent months of my life homeless. Either living hotel to hotel when I could afford it, but living bed to bed or wherever. It wasn't good.
Right.
And I did that for a long time, and long enough that I know I don't want to go back to that. And I can really easily get so wrapped up in stuff and things and ego and forget about that. And I start my day when I'm making my bed, and this is why when I don't make my bed, and I did it a couple weeks ago, I went a whole week without making my bed, and I kind of made it a test for my brain. I talked about it too. It's not a good week. It's not a good week. And I don't know if one causes the other, whatever, but like it's really important to me to make that bed.
Right.
And I do that, and I think about the times I didn't have a bed, but it's more than that. It's like, wow, I have this comfortable bed, I have this warm space, and I'm about to do something on Friday, knock on wood, if everything goes well. And this is really silly, but it really, honest to God, is like I'm in it's really strange to me. I'm about to do something really, really wild to me. And you may appreciate this. I'm going to pay my rent for the 12th time for an entire year without any problems.
Right.
Like I was a little late at one time, but I communicated with my landlord, but every single month I've been on time. I paid my rent, and I haven't been evicted, or I haven't gotten moved out into any sketchy bullshit stuff. And it's like, that's insane for a person like me. And I'm like, cool, I did that, and I can tell you all that because you'll appreciate that. If I go and sit and talk to like my cousin Kristen or something, who's got the house and I love you,
She'll be like,
Kristen.
well, yeah.
Yeah, right. That's what you're supposed to do because there's the judgment there, right?
Right.
And I'm really also grateful that like I have a landlord. He isn't in recovery, but like everybody I live with is in recovery because I rent a house with a couple other guys, and it's like we've actually all lived together this entire year, which is also amazing too. In a group house with everybody living in the same house,
Right.
but and everybody in recovery and maintaining their recovery.
Yeah, that's good.
Crazy,
That's
yeah.
good.
I think all of us have. Everybody has over 3 years now. Butch just got 3 years, and it's a powerful piece to be able to say, wow, there were moments where the money was tight. And there were a lot of moments where the money was tight and stuff, but like I did it, and I took care of that thing, and yeah, it's an accomplishment, and I can continue to build on that. But it's like, all right, cool, because not only do I have a safe spot, I have the credibility, I have the trust with my landlord because there was a month earlier this year where I was like, oh shoot, it's gonna be till the 20th, you know.
Right.
And he worked with me, and I, not only when I paid him on the 20th, I not only paid him for the month that we were in, but I paid him for the next 3 months ahead because I had that money, and I was like, I ain't getting down this road again. I was scared, you know. And he works with me, and the people I live with are safe, and we have healthy adult relationships, and it's just
It's a good
cool.
feeling.
It
It's
is
a
a
good
good
feeling.
feeling. And so I can be grateful for that, and I can be grateful, I get in my car and I drive a 14-year-old car and it gets me to where I need to go and it's comfortable and the heat works and I can just keep pouring money into it because that's what I've been doing lately. But but I get to do that these days, and do you know what I have on that car? This is insane.
Insurance.
Dude, 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 and do you know what I did? I realized I was paying too much on insurance, so I saved 50%. No, I did save a lot.
Switch the guy.
I switched to Geico. Save it. This is not a plug. Actually, we got progressive, and I saved on that. But then I realized, you know what? I actually would save an extra $100 and some odd if I paid for 6 months in advance. You know what I did?
Paid for 6 months.
And I
in
could do
advance.
that. Like, I mean, like this for a person like me, who spent a long time, living just a weird life of not of being in these spaces that were big and full of stuff and never being able to contribute anything other than my personality or other things that we don't need to go in on the show right now, but it's like, wow, I can not only I can contribute in a meaningful way and I can be grateful for that and I can think about those things when I get all twisted up, and sometimes it takes me a little while.
I will have well, once I make my insurance payment this month, my next insurance payment, I will have had insurance on my vehicle for 6 months.
Ooh.
That's the longest I've ever had insurance on a vehicle.
Wow.
I'm not even kidding.
Yeah, no, actually, I didn't even think about that because
most of my adult life, my license has either been suspended or restricted.
Oh.
And like literally most of my adult life, I've been.
I'm 32 and I just got my license 5 months ago.
I mean, yeah.
Ever? Your first time ever getting
First
it?
time ever.
Wow.
It's been suspended.
Business.
Yeah. I think my license has been suspended at least twice, maybe 3 times. I think 3 times. And it was revoked the one time. With if you're a felon in Virginia, it's automatic. It gets revoked.
Really?
Yeah, they don't play around here, boy. Like, you know what? We're gonna screw up your life, and we're gonna screw up your income, and you're never gonna be able to pay that shit. Oh, and by the way,
That's
you're gonna
rough.
get tested whenever you want. And oh, you smoked some weed? Bye, go to jail. Oh, you drank some alcohol? Bye, go to jail. They did fix a lot of that in the last session, which is good. And so, what are you grateful for today?
I'm grateful to be alive.
Mm.
I'm grateful to have another day where I'm sober. I'm grateful that I have the basic things that I need in my life right now. I'm grateful for my mother. I'm very
Mm.
grateful for my mother. And the support that she's not just given me right now, but just throughout my whole life. She's the one person that never gave up on me.
Mm.
Um, so I'm very grateful for her, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful for that my family is safe and that they're all okay. But most of all, I'm grateful for my mother.
Sweet. How about you, Justin?
I'm grateful for a lot of things. Honestly, it's kind of hard to know where to start. Uh, I mean, I guess right now I'm most grateful for the friends and family and loved ones that have stuck by me through all of my bullshit. Which there's been a lot of. I've hurt a lot of people. I've done a lot of people wrong. And those people have most of them have left. Most of them are gone, but there's a few that have stuck around. Obviously Teresa's one of them. My parents are a couple of them. Everybody here. I mean, shit, like McShin took me back, no questions asked. Let me go do my thing, and then come back and yeah, come on in. But yeah, that's what I'm thankful for, because without those people, who knows where I would be. Who knows what I'd be doing.
Ain't that some shit?
I certainly don't.
Right.
I don't want to think about what I'd be doing.
Yeah.
Or how I'd be feeling.
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. What a good show. Any final thoughts from either of you?
Love you, Ma. Love you, Jackie.
I love you, love you to JoJo's mom. Love you, my mom too. My mom's been on the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my mom and my sister were on the show this year, June 14th, the day before my birthday. My mom and my sister.
I think you told me that.
Actually, that was the second time she was on the show. She was in studio the first time. The second time. The first time. Just, I don't know if we've talked about this, Justin. We did a New Year's Eve thing, and we started at 8 p.m. and we went through to midnight. And I just gave out the StreamYard information to get into it to anybody, and we had like 21 people just pop through. It was over 21 people to pop through in the course of the 4 hours. It was insanity. It was awesome, but insanity.
Yeah.
I don't think I want to do that again, but it was fun. But my mom was on there, and so was my sister. My sister watches. My dad watches occasionally too, which is always bizarre to me because my relationship with him is. But anyway,
Yeah.
thank you for being here today.
Hey, no problem. It was my
Yeah.
pleasure.
Thank you, Justin. Appreciate you, man. Good
Absolutely.
luck. Thank you, everybody watching out there. Tomorrow we'll probably do something similar to this. I mean, I love these kind of days where we just get to kick it in the herd. Next week we got some big stuff happening. We're gonna do our regular Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday shows, but we're gonna kick it up a notch. You know how we're gonna kick it up a notch, Justin? Do you know how we're gonna kick it up a notch, JoJo?
I don't.
No? Do you?
No.
We're gonna add a 7:30 show on Tuesday.
Are we?
Well, yeah. So Tuesday, November 30th, which is, by the way, Giving Tuesday. So if you're thinking about doing some kind of donation, McShin Foundation is a 501c, a nonprofit organization. We always need some help. I can tell you my first little bit of hope was a pair of socks in a jail cell. And y'all probably heard me tell that story 1,000 times. I'll
Tell it again.
No. We'll get to that another time. But the reality is, we always need a little help. So think about giving on Giving Tuesday next week. But we're going to kick it up a notch. And like I said, how are we going to do that? 7:30 p.m. On Giving Tuesday. That is November 30th next week. We're going to have here on the show, we're going to have Representative Abigail Spanberger. She is our congresswoman for the 7th District here in Virginia, and she has introduced legislation that would put 10% of the money that goes to the substance abuse prevention and treatment block grant, which is money that comes from the federal government to the state, already comes to the state every year. I mean, it's enshrined in federal legislation. What that would do is take 10% of that money and give it directly to recovery support services. This is historic. Never in the history, seriously, never in the history of the federal budget has there been money directly appropriated to recovery support services, and that would be directly funding organizations similar to McShin Foundation all across the country. So this is important legislation to talk about, important legislation to get out. SAMHSA and the federal money that's there does already support federal, efforts for recovery support service. This is a guarantee. And that's what's beautiful about that. So we're going to have her here on the show with John, Carol, and myself, and of course, Justice over there in the driver's seat. And as always, we appreciate y'all. Hope to see you tomorrow. And if not, happy Thanksgiving. Thank you all for being here. Take care, guys.
Thank you.